Well, good afternoon. Today we have returned to detail, describe, listen to, and enjoy the wonderful and talented Alfredo Kraus. Alfredo Kraus was a Spanish tenor who was a contemporary of Pavarotti's, of Carreras, of also Domingo, Bergonzi in some respects, Franco Corelli in that same line of, and same timeline. Arragall would be another one who was a very famous and very Nicolai Gedda was also a contemporary of his, and many, many others. But he is known for having a very light lyric, uh, very high, piercing, crystalline instrument. And another thing that was very evident in his voice, particularly when he was young, was his ability to mix in between full voice, head voice, and like a voce mista. I mean, he could really kind of go in between full voice and head voice many, many times, and it was really something to behold. So let's listen to him sing "Je crois entendre encore." You will see what I'm talking about as far of going in and out of the full voice and the voce mista. And this is a piano aria. It's from the Pearl Fishers by Georges Bizet. It is written pianissimo or piano throughout the entirety of the song, and he does a really good job of kind of treading two worlds, full voice and head voice. But it's an amazing sound. It's a very forward presence. He sings in the mask specifically, where it's a very forward placement, and you'll hear that very much evident. Very high position, high placement. There's no weight in the sound at all, like at all. It's all heady. But let's listen to him sing this, and then I'll stop and make some comments about halfway through, and then I've got a little surprise at the end I want to play for you as well. All right, so without further ado, let's listen to Alfredo do his thing, and we'll go from there. Here we go. Je crois entendre encore. Okay, so let's take a little break there and kind of break down what we just heard. So, very unique approach, very interesting technically what's going on with this voice. Now, I've heard him in interviews, and I've heard other singers talk about his technique that actually studied with him or read his writings or had personal experience with his technique. And I think I'm pretty sure I'm summing it up correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he assumed that the natural placement for the voice was in the E position, the E vowel, okay? Which is very interesting. Most of us in the bel canto world were always told to sing from a more neutral position, like an A or an vowel, in particular in the upper middle or in the passaggio. But Krause did not, he believed everything had to be here. This is like his strength was his ability to penetrate these orchestras, and the voice would ping and bounce off the back wall, was because he was producing so much high partial in the sound and got so many overtones that would allow his voice to ping and project over the orchestra. And it wasn't a huge voice. It wasn't like he was putting a ton of sound out, right? But because the voice was so clear and it was placed so high, there was no weight in it. It was kind of like if you were like hitting a triangle, right? A triangle can penetrate, it can be heard over the loudest of horns, right? So he would sing like in here, and he would shape his vowels from the E position. So E, right here, and he would sing, Je crois entendre encore. everything's right here. Let's go back to the beginning. I'll stop and make a couple of comments as we get started here. So let's go. Here we go. That's all perfect, really. Savoir tendre sonore. He anticipates that and that syncopation, which I really like, actually. I've never heard anyone else do it like that. Most of them sing savoir tendre sonore, and he sings savoir tendre sonore, almost like he's doing a duplet through there, which is really cool. But I digress. The most important part of that, what I was trying to say before I got distracted by his cool rhythm, was he keeps the vowels really high as he goes down. Savoir tendre sonore comme un chant de ramier. Comme un chant du ramier. Right? Everything's light and lyric. It's like comme un chant du ramier. He's not trying to do that at all. Everything stays high, light, and lyric, which allows him to have the easy access. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I mean, oh nuit on chanterait, salut, diva, diva. It's on chanterait, salut, ravissement. Keeps everything nice and high and light and lyric. It's really amazing. Now that's an easy decrescendo on like a high B, which is not everyone could do that, right? And he can float in and out of the voix mixte or the voce finta into the full voice effortlessly. It's like there's no break in between the two. It's like he's just got a rubber band and he can stretch it this way, he can stretch it that way, whatever he wants to do. Tons of flexibility in this voice. Now this is when he's younger. Like I would say late 60s, early 70s is when he recorded this. Probably in the 60s, given the fact that it looks like a set from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's really weird. If you watch this video, it's like it's got to be the 60s. It looks like something Stanley Kubrick directed, I swear. But he had a lot of suppleness and a lot of flexibility in that voice, in particular when he was young, which allowed him to do all sorts of amazing colors and a lot of elasticity. In his older years, which he sang all the way into his 70s, like he died from pancreatic cancer, I believe at the age of 73. He sang all the way up till he was 73, and like big venues and still doing main lead roles, which is a testament to his technique and his stamina and his fortitude and his just sheer force of will, of course. But as he grew older, the technique became much more rigid. The voice is obviously, that makes sense. As you get older, your voice loses flexibility, elasticity. And he relied more and more on that technique. And you can really see the mechanics of the way he sings. If you watch the videos from when he's much older, he does a lot of strange things with his mouth. Like the cheeks are up. I mean, he does not mince words. He doesn't make any kind of apologies. He sings from this position. And it's, everything goes through the nose and through the eval, and he shapes everything around that, which it worked for him. I don't know that it's going to work for everybody. It's kind of a unique technique with the unique voice. But I'll show you another video at the end of this where you can really see the pronouncement of the cheeks like shoot up on a high C that he sings. And it's a glorious high C, by the way. But you can see it. And he's a little bit older at that point, and it's a little bit more pronounced. All right, let's keep going because this is an incredible aria. We want to hear it. Here we go. Aux clartés. Aux clartés des étoiles, je crois encore. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me the way he does that is like, Oh, clarté des étoiles, you know, it's not, oh, clarté des étoiles, which I've heard other tenors have a much more rounded, much more like homogenized vowel position as it pertains to the mouth. He doesn't do that at all. It's very much, right here. That's where I'm staying. I'm not moving. And I'm going to sing from that position. And like I said, it works amazingly well for him because that voice is just spot on consistent. And I think quite beautiful. A lot of people don't like it. They don't like that sound. It rubs them the wrong way for some reason. I can appreciate the artistry and appreciate what's going on technically because it's insanely technically amazing. So let's keep going. Same thing. Au ventier du soir. Very light. It's not au ventier du soir. Nope, he's never going to go there because he's going to keep that voice in that highlight light position the entirety of the aria so you can easily access that top. Let's keep going. All right, here we go. Big old high C. Here we go. Any way you slice that, guys, that is absolutely insanely incredible. And that high C, I mean, you can see, he's got everything up, right? In a position to keep everything right here. The sound will feel like, and he will describe it as coming out of like his eyes or like out of the top of his head. Nothing down here. He doesn't want any connection down here because that brings weight up. He doesn't want to bring weight up. He wants to keep it nice, light, and lyric. So let me show you another version of this. There we go. I think we got it. This is Salut. This is Salut, Demeure from Gounod's Faust. And this is just the excerpt from the high C. But watch his cheeks in particular when he sings the high C. Please just focus in on his face and those cheeks. All right, sorry about that. Here we go. Let's take a listen. There you go. One more time. See that? Okay, so obviously you know what I'm talking about here. I think I've made my point. Everything goes into those cheeks and those it's an interesting technique. It's a beautiful voice. It's an amazing facility, and he was an amazing singer, one of the greats for sure. But I just love listening to the different tenors sing all of these arias completely differently from one another. There are many things that are universal and the same as far as the breathing, etc. But the way they make the sound, the way they shape the phrases, the colors they make, everything is as unique as the individuals themselves. It's an amazing thing, and I love going through it and watching it. So please dive in to Alfredo Kraus. Go down the rabbit hole, check out his music, check out what he's doing. He's an amazing singer, an amazing technician, and a great, great, great opera singer. Okay. Ciao for now. TXTENOR is